So we are here at Recovery Awareness Day 2025, and I'm here with Justin Perry.
Yes, Justin Perry, Perry Counseling, Healing, and Recovery. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
All right. So myself and a team of clinicians work with folks ages 12 and up, dealing with mental health challenges, substance use challenges. We operate doing individual therapy. We do group work, we do couples, and we do family counseling. And so we do that through talk therapy, but we also have an art therapist, somebody who does movement work. And so we try to reach people where they are while also going out into the community to serve people as well.
Okay. Now, when you say movement work, elaborate on that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Stacia Hamilton, one of my clinicians, is LCAS. So she's been working in the addiction world for a while, but she's also a trained ballerina who teaches dance, and she does group sessions where she uses the body to kind of help people with their healing process, to help them kind of figure out how to calm themselves and soothe themselves. And again, you don't have to have any actual skill. It's just using your body at whatever level you are to help you find a balance and equilibrium.
Yeah. And then it's pretty cool. I never heard of that, actually.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Now, did you come up with that, or was that already a thing? And
that is 100% hers. So one of the things about myself is I try to hire people who
are smarter than you.
Yeah, 100%. Who do things that I don't do, or who do things that I do better. And Stacia falls into those categories.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, we were talking just before we started this. You were obviously one of our speakers today.
Yes.
You want to give me a little snippet on what that was about? Because I think it was some good subject matter.
Sure. So, so Ward actually reached out to me about speaking, and I asked him, I was like, did you have something in mind? And he said, I'll trust you. I just want you to be fearless with it. And I said, okay, I can do that. And so I actually used those direct words in the title. And so we talked about what we call fair treatment, which is fearlessly addressing identity and recovery. And so with that work, what we're saying is that the work of mental health and the work of substance use challenges requires building trust, but it also requires an awareness of recognizing that sometimes things such as race, sometimes such as gender, sexual orientation, class, all these types of things are a necessary part of us being able to treat somebody fully. In the same way that even in the world of addiction, we recognize that there are some things that may work in treating alcoholism that may look different than when I'm treating opioid addiction, right? So even though they're both forms of addiction, we're still taking a targeted approach. And so what I wanted to do today was kind of have a conversation that I feel like we don't often have in our field, that acknowledges, hey, we got to make sure we're making space to deal with the full person. Even if it's not my challenge, I got to figure out how do I help them with what they're going through to get to where they're trying to go.
Yeah. No, absolutely. How do you, so like myself, for example, I know, especially in my teen years, right, before my substance use struggles really started to take place, and it honestly, looking back, it probably played a factor into them, getting to the level that they were. But, 15 through 18, especially, half of my identity was an athlete.
Yeah.
Right. And you had that locker room mentality, but not only the mentality, the camaraderie.
Yep.
You're a part of a team.
Yep.
18 happens, graduate high school, and then it's gone.
Yes.
Is that something you'd say you struggle a lot with, or you come across a lot with people in this field?
Absolutely. It's interesting. I'm similar to you. I played baseball and basketball going through school, and, went to college, and it was like, all right, it's academics, right? And so you kind of have this built-in community, this built-in network, and now you're having to cultivate one, right? And that's our 18, those adolescent, young adult years are already challenging, where you're trying to find yourself to begin with, let alone when you've had this built-in infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's like, wait, I've got to create something. This is completely different. And so that's something that I definitely come across a lot. I sometimes work with folks who are dealing with injuries, right? So again, even though I may still be on the team, but I'm hurt and I can't actively participate in the same way. And that takes a whole different mentality. I was fortunate, at least when I played, to not deal with things that were overly debilitating, except for basketball. I hurt my back, and that was a whole other thing. But at least with baseball, I was able to I stuck with that all the way through. So
yeah. I always find it interesting too, because something I would say that that I personally struggled with a lot too was, again, my substance use picked up a lot right after high school, as I'm sure most people's does. And so from the years, from age 17 to 25, blank space.
Right. Right.
And then next thing you know, go to treatment the final time, and I wake up, I'm 26. And so it was coming in the door, not even knowing my identity, right? Like I knew who I was before I started using.
Right.
But that was 16-year-old me, and now I can't be 16-year-old me at 26. I can't be, class clown or athlete, at 26, right? That ship had kind of sailed. And so finding those identities, or that identity that was a struggle.
Yeah, no.
Early on.
Well, that's even from going from athlete to former athlete, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different thing of we talk about acceptance, right? Yeah. So again, like, it's its own kind of powerlessness in a way. It's like I'm not playing, but in my heart, I'm still a baller, right? I'm still an athlete, but I'm not, right? And then it's interesting when you talk about those years of 17 to 25. I mean, you're kind of the poster child, because we talk about brain development going into age 25. And and that's one of the things we see is like, so when that substance use becomes such a prominent part of it, it becomes a defining part, right? And so I always tell people, for me, it's not about a gateway drug, it's about gateway ages, right? And so the earlier we start doing it, the more time that thing has to progress as a dominant factor in our life. And so you speaking to it from your own experience, I think it's great that, at 26, you were able to kind of have that light bulb come on, right? And,
thankfully.
Because I mean, we see people that come in, like I said, our youngest person we work with is 12. Our oldest person we work right now is 82, right?
Oh, wow.
And so we see even with prescription drugs and things like that in older populations. And so it's just one of those things where I always recognize that, addiction, mental health, and challenges like that don't discriminate, but sometimes our response to them does discriminate. And so part of my topic today was figuring out, how do we have a more inclusive approach for everybody, not just some people, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's a fine line too of like, how do we make it inclusive and for everybody, and yet still maintain some type of individual, individuality, or some type of uniqueness or unique approach to tailor it towards the individual. And,
exactly.
And especially, you bring into group settings, then you've got individuals within the group, and it's very complex.
No doubt.
Yeah.
As somebody who's run a lot of groups over the years,
I respect what you do.
You recognize that. And it's like, because to your point, effective treatment recognizes our similarities, but it still takes a targeted approach to the things that make us unique, right? And so I always tell people, I don't need to erase your differences to make us a community. Actually, us being a community is saying, hey, you can have these things that are different about you, and I have these things that are different about me, but this is what binds us together. I'm going to figure out, how do I embrace what is unique about your experience? Hopefully you can do the same, and then we've got that reciprocity as we're working to try to build this cohesive group and that's working towards the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that saying, right? Like, putting your candle out doesn't make mine shine any brighter, right?
Bingo.
It's like putting them together. That's where it comes from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny. One of the things I talked about in our in the training today was when we were talking about shame. One of the responses to shame is attacking others. And one of the things I always say is that the way you can tell the difference between genuine confidence versus arrogance masquerading as confidence is, does that person try to lift other people up? Or do they try to tear other people down? Oh. Because when I'm truly confident, what I realize is there's enough for all of us to thrive. But when I've got arrogance masquerading as confidence, I need to make you feel small so you don't realize I'm not as big as I'm projecting myself to be.
Yeah. Well, and that honestly perfectly kind of segues into, the meaning of Recovery Awareness Day, right? Mm-hmm. The whole reason why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing is we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Like there are things that you do at your practice that we don't do at Blanchard.
Right.
And we need to be aware of what those things are. So when we have a client that comes across our caseload, and they could benefit from your services, we need to know that we can plug them in with you.
Exactly.
And vice versa. And same with, our facility versus another facility who may specialize in, trauma or whatever
Right.
it is. Right. And
Right.
so, really emphasizing the stronger together kind of mentality rather than, each of us, what is it? Ward always says to go fast, go alone, to go far, you go together.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of the whole point of what we're doing here today. So I appreciate it. It's good.
Yeah, no, that ties in. I always talk about independence versus interdependence, right?
Yeah.
Independence is standing alone on my own 2 feet, but I always say interdependence is key because I'm still standing on my own 2 feet, but I recognize I can stand stronger and longer with the support of others with a shared vision. And so when you talk about that, there are things that we can do at Perry Counseling and who we can serve, but then there's times where somebody needs more than what we have.
Yeah.
And so we need to make that referral to Blanchard. We need to say, hey, I look at it kind of like, somebody who has a significant injury. Some people can go straight into physical therapy. That's kind of what we're doing. But some people need to go to ICU. Some people need surgery. Sometimes they need something more at a higher level of care, right? Yeah. And then they can actually benefit when they step down to what we do. And so that's why I love this approach and saying, hey, I need somebody that you can work with 3 times a week, 3 hours a day or more. So there's got some consistency. That 1 hour a week with me, man, I don't know what they're doing those other 167 hours, but I have concerns, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we even have those concerns, right? With the 3 hours a week, 3 hours a day. Yeah. I mean, then that's why we've got residentials, right?
Exactly.
Like exactly. But no, I mean, we really appreciate it. If someone listening or watching needs your services or has somebody that they think will benefit from your services, how do we get in touch with you?
Sure. So it's a very simple way. So you can go, the website is justinperrycounseling.com.
Perfect.
I also have an Instagram handle. It's the exact same thing, Justin Perry Counseling. And so if you go there or you reach out by phone, 704-908-4061, we'll reach out. And our approach is, if we can serve you, great. If somebody else is better suited to serve you, fine. We'll work to get you there. Like we like working with people, but we care most that somebody gets what they need. And if it needs to be somewhere else, I would much rather you reach out to us and us help you find that place than for it not to happen at all.
Yeah. It's not about getting care. It's about getting the right care.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, we appreciate you being here and we appreciate everything you do for the community.
Thank you. Likewise. Awesome. Take care.